Hey everybody, great to be back on a brand new week of the Cabral Concept with you. This is our Mindset and Motivation Monday. I want to share with you, I think, an important discussion, an important question to ask yourself if you haven't already thought about this, that if you are trying to master anything, do you know about the 10,000 hour rule? And if you know about it, is there something that's even better that could quicken your path to success? So if you haven't heard of the 10,000 hour rule before, it is the notion that in order to truly master something, you need to put in 10,000 hours of work on it. So let's think about that for a second. If you want to be great as a health coach or as a baseball player or playing basketball as a kid or whatever it might be, it is about 40 hours per week times 5 years, or 20 hours per week times 10 years. It's a long time in order to be able to create mastery. But once you've created mastery, you know it inside and out, and it is difficult for you not to be successful in that thing. So let's go over investing. You might not be the world's greatest investor, but if you put in 10,000 hours, so what is that? 4 hours a day times 5 days a week for 10 years, you're going to know a lot about investing. You will be in the 1% of 1%. So truly, in order to be able to master something, this is talked about by Malcolm Gladwell and many other individuals, it is the 10,000 hour rule. As a kid, how long does it take to become great at a sport? Well, like a good 5 years, right? Like a good at least 5 years. So you're out there, you're practicing every day, you go to your practices, you go to your games on the weekend. All of that adds up to about 5 years worth of work in that particular sport to get really good. Now, some people never get really good. They're not willing to put in the 5,000 hours. So they show up for the mandated practices and they show up for the games on the weekend. And it's like no big deal in the beginning, because in the beginning, everybody's kind of in the same boat. You've only got a couple hundred to maybe 1,000 hours. So you're all kind of in the same boat. But then over the years, you start to see the separation. That's what Malcolm Gladwell and others talk about in Outliers and other books. How do you become an outlier? How do you become great in what you do? How do you get a promotion at your job? How do you become really good at anything that you wish to put your mind to? You want to become better at chess? Okay, here it is, 10,000 hours. If you put in 10,000 hours, you're going to be a great chess player. But now a lot of people say to themselves, I don't want to put in 5 to 10 years of work. And I get it. And here's the nice thing is you don't have to. For the most part, people can become very proficient in about 18 to 24 months. That's what I've seen. They can know their stuff in about 1.5 to 2 years. It's difficult, and a lot of people pretend online, it's difficult to really know your stuff if you're not putting in the hours, a few hours a day, every day, in order to become proficient and great at what you do. Now, are you the 10,000 hour master at what you do? No, but you can become great at something in 1.5 to 2 years. Now, watch it again, like practice learning the language, practicing an instrument, practicing chess, practicing to become a health coach, to start a business. Any one of those things you can do in 18 to 24 months. Now, you're going to be extremely proficient in a language. You'll be good, no doubt about that. Great? Probably not yet. It depends on the hours you put in and how adept you are picking that thing up. Will you be great at chess in 18 months? You'll be able to beat the majority of people, 99 out of 100, no doubt about it, right? But one of the greats, not yet, right? You're not going to be a grandmaster yet at chess. Okay. So as we start to move down the line, there's so much that you can accomplish in 18 to 24 months. So do not say, I'm not ready to commit to the 5 to 10 years. You don't need to be, because you can become extremely proficient in about 1.5 to 2 years time. And I also say to you though, but if you're not willing to commit for that long, do you really want it, right? Is your why strong enough? Because if it's not, if you're only saying like, I want to get great in a month, well, that's really challenging, right? It's like, yeah, you can learn a lot in a month, but you're not going to be great. So if you're not committed to the thing, maybe it's not the right thing for you. Maybe you should not invest any time in that right now. And I've shared that with people and they're like, well, that's kind of like demotivating, but it's not, because what happens is people start projects or they start new hobbies or new, whatever it might be, and they don't see them through. So then they get more and more discouraged, which means that next time they think about doing it, like, well, I never accomplish anything I start, or and they use all these negative thoughts and words in their language that only create more defeatism in the way that they act in their life. So I don't want that. I want you to think about what it is that you want. I want you to have the why behind it, and then I want you to see it through. And I want you to use the 12-week year that we spoke about on last Monday's show, that all you need to commit to is 12 weeks. Well, here's the nice thing. In 18 months, there's only 6 12-week years. That's it. So you've got 6 12-week programs, and then you get to 18 months. And I'm telling you right now, you can become a certified health coach. You can become a real estate agent. You can become whatever that profession is. You can learn it inside and out. And you can be set up and running within that 18 months, but you need to commit to it. Now, again, will you get better in 24 months? Yes. Will you get better in 36 months after 3 years? Yes. Will you be great in 5 years? Yes. That's your 10,000 hours, right? So to reach 10,000 hours, you need to move through the first 18 months anyways. It's also why I tell people all the time, whatever their weight loss goal is, or what like it's the easiest one. Okay, yeah, if you're looking to lose 100 pounds in a year, you want to lose it next month, right? That's everybody's goal. But what do we really need to do? We need to lose 2 pounds per week for 50 weeks, right? That's what we need to do. Okay, well, let's break that into 12-week years. We want to lose about 25 pounds every 12 weeks. So now all we need to focus on is that 12 weeks. And we can even then break it down further just to focus, again, using the 12-week year on a month. So now how much weight do we need to lose in a month? About 8 pounds. Okay, now let's focus on this week. How much do we need to lose this week? 2 pounds. That's all you're going to do for any task you have. And you're going to keep doing that for the 18 months. And after 18 months, like no doubt about it, you're going to see the work. I mean, even after 6 months, you're going to see the difference. With weight loss, you're going to be down 50 pounds, right? With health, you're going to be basically all healed or just almost all the way there. With becoming certified in real estate or health coaching, you're going to be certified, right? So it's like, you're good. You'll already see the progress, and then that progress is going to lead to more momentum. But ultimately, if you want a sustainable body transformation, health, career, you'll put in those 10,000 hours. Now, as I alluded to though, is there another way? Is there a faster way? Well, what seems to be, and I just heard this notion and I really like it because I think it is true. I've seen people master something in 3 years. Now, in order to do that, what does that mean? Well, it means that they would have had to put in then 3,333 hours per year, right? And so that then would take them from working, what's the math on that? If it's 2,000 a year, they're going to go to 66 or so hours per week, somewhere around that. That's unrealistic, like for most people. That is working 12 hours a day times 5.5 days. That's a lot of work. Now, for many people, when they first start a business, they are working those hours. I for sure worked those hours when I started my first studio and then my second health clinic, for sure. Now, it's a fast way to become very proficient and master something, but not ideal, right? It's like, well, when you're in school for 4 years in undergrad, what are you putting in? You're putting in about 40 hours over 4 years. The problem is you're not studying one thing, you're studying a lot of different things. So you're not mastering one topic, you're kind of mastering the art of, I guess, learning and passing tests. That's what you're learning in undergrad, which is okay. There's nothing really wrong with that. But it's not until you focus on that one thing that you then get your 10,000 hours. So, okay, so how do we speed this up without just necessarily putting in more time? I heard this theory and notion, which I do like and I do believe in. Instead of 10,000 hours, it's more 10,000 iterations. Now, that might seem even more crazy as to try 10,000 different things, but it's not. It is iterating every day at getting better. So now when we look at that, we're saying, okay, how can we learn from the past and iterate faster in order to get better results? So instead of the whole 10,000 thing, think of iterating faster and feeling faster forward. So one of my favorite things is to tell people, like, your job is to literally fail. And the reason is you need to figure out every way it won't work, because then you know the way that it does. Like, that's ultimately the best thing that you can do for weight loss, for health, for whatever. Like, figure it out. Like, okay, this didn't work. Why didn't it work? Right? Okay, you have to ask why, because you can't just say, well, it didn't work. That is putting in your 10,000 hours. And if you just move forward and you put in 10,000 hours in anything, but you practice imperfectly and you're not learning from your mistakes, you still won't master anything in 10,000 hours. And you see that. You see some people, they go through the motions. They go through 10,000 hours. And I know many people. I was in the nutrition and personal training industry forever. I mean, well over, many, many years. Let's call it 15. And again, it's not like I'm out of it. I'm still in the health and fitness-based industry. And so when I look at, some personal trainers over their 5 years, and I look and I say, this person hasn't really developed that much. They're kind of still going through the same motions, doing the same thing. I wouldn't consider them really a master of their craft because they're doing the same thing they were 5 years ago. So also don't lean back and say, I'm just going to put in my hours, put in my time. Eventually I'll get there. Not if you're not learning and growing. So the iterative practice to me is really what it's all about. And you can get there, I believe, in probably about 3 years' time, without a doubt, if you are continuing to up-level your growth, your understanding, and your consistent asking of why. So in my companies, people, I'm always asking why. Like, what are we working on? What are you doing? And why? The why is, how does that move us forward? How does that help more people? Because if we're doing things that don't really allow us to reach more people and help more people, it's like, well, I don't believe in busy work. Like I'm happy if my team wants to work 20 hours instead of 40 hours. Don't fill it with 20 hours of busy work. Because it ends up piling up and making more of a mess. Like we don't need to focus on things that don't actually move the needle. Is this helping someone? Is it providing better customer service? Is it providing better data? Like what is it doing? Because if it's not doing that, we need to refocus. We need to reiterate. And so that allows us then to focus on what really does matter. So we say, okay, this is currently what we're able to provide. People would really like it if we were able to do this, this, and this. Okay, what does it take now to get from where we are right now to where we want to be? And that is why the 12-week year is so important. Because every 12 weeks, you reassess what would be a year, your 12 weeks. You literally look at it as a year and you say, what went well? What could have gone better? Did I put in a sincere effort? If I didn't, what was stopping me from doing so? Do I still have that strong why? Okay, I have the strong why. I understand what I could have done better. I understand what pulled me off track. And here are the action steps now in order for it to be different over the next 12 weeks. So if you do that, you'll see yourself demonstrably be able to move forward each and every quarter. But now how can you move faster than even that? Instead of it waiting to the end of 12 weeks to be able to assess, you assess each month and each week. When you do that, you have enough data. Tough to assess the day. Like it's okay, but you need to look at, okay, this is what happened over the week. This is what happened over the month. And then you can make the changes faster. So as you're moving through, let's just call it your weight loss based process and progress, you see yourself starting to slow. You go from 2 pounds a week down to 1 pound a week on average. Now, you could wait the full 12 weeks and lose 12 pounds. Not the end of the world, but your goal was 24, 25 pounds. So what do? We can assess faster, 4 weeks in a row of 1 pound weight loss. Now, in my opinion, that's a trend. If it was 1 or 2 weeks, I don't quite know yet. I don't know exactly what was going on, a change in many different things, right? Inflammation, et cetera, et cetera. I can look at it. Okay. But over a month, I have enough data. It's 1 pound a week. 1 week was 0.75. 1 week was 1. 1 week was 1.25. The next week was 1. Average is 1 pound a week. Okay. I'm not going to wait another 8 weeks in order to help that client, or that client's not going to wait another 8 weeks in order to get back on track. What do they need to do? Okay. Well, they were following the nutrition plan and they were walking. They were walking 7,500 steps a day and they were getting that 2 pounds, and now it's down to 1 pound. All right. No problem. Let's keep the nutrition the same. I don't want them to eat less. What do I need to do? Let's focus on getting now to 10,000 steps per day. What does that mean? 25 more minutes of walking a day. Seems like a lot. But it's not a lot when it's 8 minutes in the morning, 8 minutes at lunch, 8 minutes after dinner. That allows us then to be more metabolically active, help better metabolize those calories after each meal, and get them to their goal. Plus, we're still not even doing vigorous-based workouts yet. We're going to save that until we start to plateau a little bit more if we need to, if that's not what the client wants to do. Because again, we want to get there. Ideally, everybody would be doing it, but we can do this in a fashion that allows people to graduate each part and continue to make progress. So now that person does that, they're watching their nutrition, they're walking postprandial after the meal, and now they've got back up to 2 pounds per week. Great. Next time that happens, we know exactly what we need to do. We're going to start to tweak, whether it's hormones or whether it's nutritional supplements, food, exercise, sleep. We're going to pull on one of those levers in order to continue to get better results. So what does that mean? It means we're not focused on one thing, nutrition, or one thing, exercise. We're looking at whatever lever needs to be pulled, and we're doing that now on a monthly basis. So what we're able to do is create more iterations in 1 month, 1 quarter, and of course, over our 4 years in 1 year, right? Our 12-week years, than most people would ever make. And so if we do that, would it be crazy to say we can double our progress as someone who's just looking to put in their 10,000 hours? I think so. Like without a doubt, I would say I know so. Because when I look at the best people, so I've hired hundreds of people in my career, and I've been fortunate to work with hundreds of people. And the people that I've just seen rise to the top, really move up, after work, they're doing their own continuing education. Not because we tell them to, right? It's just, that's what they do on their own. And I would even look before I ever hired anybody. I would look at other nutritionists, personal trainers, doctors, etc. They were at seminars. They were studying books. They were listening to audio. We were having conversations with each other. We were putting in those hours even with clients, because when you're working with clients, that's part of your hours, right? But you're continuing to look even more outside of that. A client brings you a question. Oh, I haven't heard of that before. I haven't seen that before. So what are you doing after work? You're researching it. Once you research it, you feel like you know it well, maybe reach out to a colleague. What are you then doing? Now you're repeating it back to that client. Hey, here's what I found. Here's what I think it means. This is what I believe we do next. That is part of the iterative process. If you do that in any industry and any part of your life, health, body transformation, relationships, spirituality, career, you are going to skyrocket your chances of success. As I've talked about this over and over, but success is inevitable. It is literally about figuring out all the ways that don't work on your way to what does work. And the fastest way to do that is to model the success of another individual, someone that you want to emulate. You're going to do what they do, now in your own way, but you're going to do what they do until you realize what parts of that don't work for you. And then you're going to iterate and make those changes for yourself. But it's so much easier to have the direct mentorship, the course, the book, like as close as you can get to that success. That's what you want. In spirituality, body transformation, career, health, relationships, whatever it is, find the advice of someone that has done exactly what you want to do. Because there are millions of people who have done exactly what it is that you want to do. That's the truth. And there has to be somebody locally. And if not, here's the miracle of using Zoom or FaceTime or anything else. If you can connect with that person, you are able to learn from them. You're going to write down as much as you can. You are then going to implement. And it's not going to be perfect. And that's okay, because you are going to fail forward fast. You're literally going to do all the things and be like, oh, that didn't work. That didn't work. Let me ask this question. Let me figure out why. And then once you know a little bit more of the why, you take the next step and then you fail again. And you're like, oh, well, why didn't this work? And then you find out why. And as long as you don't regress and you continue to ask why and you continue to learn, you continue to up level. And that's why it's almost impossible to go backwards, because you can't unknow what you know. And so once you know, you're just going to, if you ever fall backwards, you know exactly the plan to get you there. Because you've already done it. You've already been successful. That's why people that have already been successful can teach people that haven't been there yet, but they have. So you're borrowing that person's success. You're borrowing that person's 10,000 hours of mastery. You still have to put in your iterations, but if you're following a plan, you can get there faster. So my goal for you in this new year is to at least commit to those 6 12-week years, right? The 6 12-week quarters. That's going to get you to be great in whatever it is that you're looking to do. Whatever it is. You can't tell me that you can't dramatically improve your health, your body transformation, your relationships, your spirituality, or your career in 18 months. You can't tell me that, because I know that you can. So you can be great and well on your way in that 18 months. Now, the focus though and the goal is to become the top 1% of 1%. Put it in your 10,000 hours, but focus now instead on iterations. The faster you iterate, the faster you get there. Hopefully today's show was helpful. Thank you so much for tuning into the Cabral Concept. And as always, if the show was helpful, do feel free to share it with anyone you believe it could serve. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.